Where is it?
All gonna be here.
One next to me.
Yeah.
Hi, Robert.
How's it going, Michael?
Good, sir. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. They have meetings, chamber meetings in.
Good times, huh?
They told me you live for meetings, so I was like, all right.
Oh, hell yeah. There was somebody was talking about Dave Cox, Frank Cox's son. I kept going, are you kidding me? Dave Cox owns all that property? And I think you're talking about the wrong Dave Cox, just so we're clear here.
I mean.
I was like, maybe you did acquire it, but I don't think Frank is cut you.
No, so. Is it Mogado? Are they the ones that had the development down here? What's his name?
Maldonado.
Maldonado, Dean, yeah.
I see he's got a big project going up by Moses Lake.
Yep, sounds about right.
Our name on it.
Dean's an interesting guy. I had two of my
She does.
clients
She finds
approach
it
me to
weird.
buy him out of this one.
Besides that,
He wants to sell.
And we know.
Yeah, they got a big
Keep an eye on it next month. See that.
I was up there this last weekend
Okay.
and saw that name.
It's a deputy.
That's that, yeah.
The same issue with my chair, my desk chair.
Squeaks. Wobbly.
Do we know what Paul's gonna be here?
I do not know. I have not heard.
Scott on vacation?
Yes. he
Are
is.
you the?
Are you not following
today?
Facebook?
He's the man.
Well, I mean, I just got back from
Oh,
Houston, so
There you go.
trying to catch up. Never going back there again, ever. I can't deal with that weather.
Oh, yeah.
Smile, that's where I grew up. Bach, my town.
Have you been there recently? I mean, I was in the woodlands.
I
But I mean, the woodlands is nice, but the humidity was 90 and it was in the 90s.
Sure,
We have.
that's just a
How
regular
many
day.
showers and changes
Even
of
if it were
clothes
you
do
and
you
two
need
others.
per day?
If you're sweating, it's a shower as you sweat.
Yeah.
It's cool that we get out of the shower. Like it's.
Oh, yeah, you
need
can
to do it
just,
Again.
yeah,
Here we go.
exactly.
No,
It's awesome.
I couldn't handle it.
We had 4 separate air conditioning units in our house. So if one went out, you just moved to the other part of the house.
I think I had heat stroke 4 times. There's that.
Yeah, I played the game enough. I didn't leave anything down there. I need to go get it again. So I'm all right. I'm all right. Oh.
Dave, you're in charge?
I am, yes.
Yeah.
Evening, welcome to the Stevenson Council meeting. I'd like to call meeting to order. I'd like to invite everyone to stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance.
Flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'd like to excuse Mayor Anderson as he's on vacation. So what? We'd like to open the meeting for public comments. Is there anyone that would like to have any public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public comments at 6:01. You folks will notice the changes to the agenda. We have several different items that have been added to the agenda, and we'll be addressing those as I go through those. Consent agenda,
I don't see the water thing.
it's
It's
later on.
later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's one of the actual items on the agenda.
Your motions. I'd like to make a motion to approve consent agenda items A through D, period.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Sheriff's report, Under Sheriff Wyckoff.
Well, I do believe you documentation of what our last month's entailed in the city of Stevenson, and I'm just here to see if there's any questions or concerns about our activity or anything else you feel we need to be providing for you.
Looks good. Thanks.
That was easy.
Under Sheriff, while I'm not on council anymore, Sheriff Schreier came and addressed us at the chamber today, and she
Uh-huh.
indicated that you do have 2 deputies that have been approved, but you can't get them into the academy. And then once they're in the academy, so you're looking at next April or next June or July before you can even get those 2 folks on the road. Is that right?
Originally, they were talking about January, and then I heard the other day there were maybe possibility in November.
To get them into the academy?
Yeah, it's made it hard because we're down to 2 boat operators. We have to deal with the contracts we have up north and cover Swift and all that, so I'm frantically trying to make some adjustments to make sure that we have all that covered, and maybe taking one of our guys from here for a little while to fill that void for us for about 4 months. to
Why
help
can't
us
they get into
relieve
the academy?
Taking somebody away from down here. So, because Mr. Barker's gonna retire.
Why can't they get into the academy yet? It doesn't start
They're
until
just,
then?
well, they prefer to assist the larger agencies over smaller agencies. So you can write a poor me letter if you would like to call it that, which I did in White Salmon a couple times to get people into the academy. And unfortunately it worked.
Do we need that?
Well, we've done that already. We've addressed it and said, you know, we have an agency, we've had some transition, we've had retirements, people that. And we're trying to get people into the jail because the 2 people that we just hired to put on patrol are coming out of the jail. So we've got quite a transition going all around us. But we're making it work. You know, it makes it a little more difficult. Everybody just has to be on the same page and understand what we have to do to make everything come together. And it will, it's okay. It's just, unfortunately, that's the way it is because there's a lot of people leaving law enforcement now, a lot of people trying to get in, so. Clark County is trying to start an academy themselves, and it could be as soon as October, November, so that's a possibility. I don't know how they're gonna pull all it together in a short time like they
Probably not.
presented. But that is another option. They've been approved to go ahead and do so that is in the works.
They've had reserve academies quite a few years.
Yeah.
So are they, at the main academy, are they still using like Seattle and, and those bigger agencies to actually staff the academy still?
Well, anybody, actually, right now, when I was looking at the CJT website today, they're actually looking for officers that want to come up and be,
Yeah.
help me out,
Yeah, instructors.
instructors, I guess, but it's another terminology for it. But, so they do pull from all other agencies. I mean, if we had a lot of manpower, we could take one of our guys that was like a good at the range or defensive tactics or something like that, and actually could put them up there and they'll pay the wages while they're there. But they are trying to pull for instructors as well, but they've got the academy in Seattle going on. They've got one over in Spokane going on, and they have another one, which I didn't realize they had, was over in the Yakima area. It's a small one. They only maybe do two academies a year. And then now they're trying to push the Clark County one. So there's that many people trying to get in, but there's also that many people that are leaving.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like a big wave that comes in one after another, and people are going out the other side. So,
Cool.
we can.
Anything else for the Sheriff? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming.
Stevenson Community Pool.
Thanks, have a good night.
Oh,
The,
wait, state your name.
Andrea Bitter is my name. I
you.
am the manager and CEO of the, pool district, for the Stevenson Community Pool. We just, passed our 1 year anniversary since our reopening and things have been going well. We're currently busy training and gearing up for our summer staff, summer programs and extended summer hours. I'm happy to report that in the last 12 months, we have made more than we projected and spent less than we projected. So we're happy about that. We've been averaging about 600 visits per month, which is really good. I mean, that's not 600 individual people. That's just how many repeat customers. So that's how many visits we're getting. We are currently running swim lessons, swim team prep, lap swim, and water exercise class, all of which are busy. Our biggest hurdle is staffing and finding people to work. We've been hiring for about 6 months for another management position, and that position is still open. So we have lots of people coming to the pool, and that's good news. Does anybody have any questions specifically for me?
What are your hours for the summer? Just curious. In case people.
Summer hours starting July 1st are going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Tuesday, Thursday, 1 to 7, and Saturdays 3 to 7. We're always closed on Sunday.
Something like a pass for the whole summer. Pretty, the summer pass, whatever. Pretty awesome. My son loved it, of course, so yeah.
Has there been any discussion with the school district in regards to possibly starting up the swim lessons again for the, the primary age kids?
That discussion is open on our end, and they haven't contacted us about that. I think it's not top priority for them. They're pretty busy, and they tend to like to do that before they plan for the next year. And I'm not sure if that window has passed yet or not, but we just did recently reach out to them again this month, saying that we're open and available for that. They do have priority for hours and times because of our lease agreement with them. So when they're ready, it will be available to them.
And also maybe reaching out to Mill A and also Skamania and Mount Pleasant. I know that at one time they were all part of that influx into the pool when they were doing it. So
Many of them have come and utilized us for field trips or individual class. We just had the high school a special education class come for a field trip. So we're getting individual groups from the districts coming, just not like a wide district program at this point.
okay, thank you.
But we are available for it. So
Okay.
Where I learned to swim.
Yeah, same. I mean, that's, and I meant all the kitchen accounts. That's way
Okay.
work.
Anything else for pool?
Glad it's going well.
Yeah,
Yes,
you.
absolutely.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
yeah, thank
Way to
you.
keep on top of it.
Thank you very much. Thanks for
Keep
inviting me. to
pushing.
come. Have a nice night. And thanks for
Thanks.
supporting the pool.
You're welcome. Okay, we are going to go into our public hearings. We will like to open the public hearing at 6:10 in regards to the Transportation Improvement Program. Staff report.
So based on the feedback from the last meeting, the list hasn't changed, or sorry, option A is what was moved ahead, which is basically taking last year's list and doing some adjustments based on projects that are in process, and moving forward with that, as well as adding some necessary ones as well. And then there's also the financials that were requested to provide a better picture as far as what the street fund is looking like and the viability of those projects. And so when I did as good a projection as I could do, not knowing what the economy is going to be doing, 5 or 6 years out, I did a straight projection, I believe it was 5% on revenues and 3% on expenses. Or maybe I matched it 5 and 5. And the revenues would be the sales tax. That's so half of the sales tax that the city receives goes to the street fund. And in looking at that with no capital projects, the fund was short $70,000 year over year. There are a couple of things that, so as you can see in the chart, one of the biggest increases is personnel. And so that's just means that the city is doing more work in the street department. So a lot of that is related to increased focus on the downtown core. Previously, we had contracted for that work. And then we had someone that was working there part-time and then contracting out part-time. So the revenues were partially offset. And so that increased labor is what's reflected in that graph. I understand that there was also increased concern last winter with the amount of snow and the length of time that the snow stayed on the ground. That increased labor for, in essence, plowing the sidewalks, in addition to plowing the streets, would come from the street fund. We also don't have the equipment for it. So equipment and manpower, if that were something that would be wanted to be done, would also be coming out of this budget that is already $70,000 in the hole. So, and again, this is without any of the projects. And so in here, as mentioned previously, were some items to increase revenues. We're already trying to do our best to partner with the county to save costs on overlays, crack sealing, all the maintenance type of work that we can do. And so the revenues is kind of where I focused more on, and that one of them was to create a transportation benefit district. And there's 2 options council has, and it's councilmanic, which means it doesn't have to go to a vote of the people. It's not required to. One is to do a vehicle licensing fee, so tab fee of up to $20. And so just a low estimate would be about $28,000 is what it might bring in. So we have, and I did roughly 700 utility connections that we have, and 2 cars at each home at $20. So no scientists, no science done there, but and the other one is to implement a sales tax of 0.1%. And that would be about $88,000 using the 2022 revenues. So we're getting 1% right now. And so, or sorry, the city's getting 1% as a whole. The street fund is getting 0.5%. And so this would be just an added 20% of that. And then the other options would be to implement an internal utility tax on the water and sewer utilities. And so this would, and you can tailor it to how you want it. So if you wanted to do, so to cover that $70,000, a 3.5% tax on the base fees for water and sewer and the flow charges for water and sewer using the 2022 revenues would bring about $72,000. And then the third option would be to establish a stormwater utility, and what that would take out of the water fund based on previous years would be about $30,000. So that wouldn't cover it. And then once you institute a stormwater utility, we would then, it would be a heavier lift because we would have to do capital projects and that whole study as well. But those are just sort of some options that we can discuss further at the development of the 2024 budget. In the end, that's sort of where we're at for streets.
Okay.
So the 1% that you were talking about, is that additional, or is that what we're getting now, but only 0.5 of it goes to streets?
1% is what we're getting now.
Mhm.
Well, sorry. Technically, so we're getting 1.2%.
Right.
0.5 goes to streets, 0.5 goes to the general fund, and then 0.2 is for safety. And so we're getting 1.2% of the sales tax right now. And so
1.3.
It'd make it 1.3 with that 0.1% going to streets.
Okay, we'd like to see if anyone's here to comment on the, on our,
We did receive one comment regarding Maple Alameda, and it was by email later this afternoon, and it's from Greg and Deborah Stafford, and they own an ADU located at 350 Northwest Maple Alameda and would like to approve Northwest Maple Alameda to be a paved street. The newspaper and information was posted last year. Improvements to Northwest Maple Alameda will make it safer to drive. It's very narrow and will become easier to have visual clearance and easy to maintain. Thank you, Greg Stafford.
that glare on that screen, so I can't see if there's anybody raising their hand.
No one's raising their hand.
Any other further comments? Okay, I will close the public hearing. Okay, I'll close it at 6:18 PM. Council, you have any further discussion on the tip? I don't.
One thing I wanted to make clear, so we received a quote for what it would cost to pave Lakeview, and we're still working on massaging that project. It isn't listed on this tip, however, it also would not be eligible for funding through any sort of project that would require this. If it does, though, we can come back and amend it. So we haven't updated it from the last council meeting.
Any other comments? Okay, I would entertain a motion if someone would like to do that.
We'll make a motion to approve resolution 2023-411, adopting the 2024 to 2029 transportation improvement plan.
Okay,
Second.
been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Okay, we will open the we'll open the public hearing again for our capital improvement program update. And we will open that at 6:19 PM. Staff report.
So this is the same project listing that was provided to you at the last council meeting. Staff was working on the timing of projects at the last meeting, or actually yesterday. However, it's not vital for adopting the CIP. The project is still listed in the CIP, and the timing of everything is always going to be in flux. And I think we just kind of resolved the fact that it will always be a living document with sort of a snapshot in late June. So one good piece of information, though, is that in reviewing the Levens, reviewing the Levens project, the water line is okay, so we don't need to do that. Sewer's okay, and it's really just going to be, staff had a meeting with the PUD, and we'll be moving forward on getting the lines underground and getting that pole out of the sidewalk or out of the road, which has been an impediment to development, and then working with the property owners on other connections.
Wonderful.
So yeah. So, and that project is going to be moving up to about 2025.
Okay.
And should be able to be funded through TIB. So
Really good partnering
Nice.
with PUD.
yeah, yes.
Good meeting.
Anything further? Okay. We will solicit comments. Any comments on the public? I do not see any. So this time we will close the public hearing at 6:21. Additional comments? I'm good. Are you? That's what they tell me.
Oh, it's going around. I hear it a
Is
lot.
it going around?
Yeah.
Okay, one thing, when I was in the meeting yesterday, along the fire hall, Mary Repar was asking about whether the fire hall was considered a capital improvement. And I told her that it was, and looking at the list, it's about 3/4 of the way down there, but it is on our CIP, so I just wanted to verify that it was in fact down there.
Yes.
Awesome.
We are working on moving that along.
Yes, it was a good
When we
meeting.
get-
It was a good
yeah.
meeting last night too, so. Good workshop. Okay, public hearing number 3. We all-
Yeah, motion.
Did you do anything with that?
You have to approve the resolution.
Oh,
So should I make a motion on that one?
you can go right ahead and do
All right,
that.
let's do it. I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 2023-412, adopting the revised capital improvement program, period.
Second.
Okay, first, second, hey, for the discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Now, we will move to the next. We will open the public hearing at 6:23 for the latecomers agreement for Terry Lane Sewer Main Line Extension. Staff report.
So, through discussions, on the Chenier development, the current construction has the sewer line connecting 2 homes, and that was in the plans already. And then there was a group of homes that weren't being served by city sewer and could easily be served by a short extension of the line. So not only will we save costs because it will be in an area where there are no homes and no infrastructure right now, so it makes it easier to get to. And it's already torn up, they're already there. It's also maybe done through the agreements that we've done recently, through the mitigation agreements. So that means that the city doesn't have to pay prevailing wages. We don't have to go through our intensive process, and nor does the contractor to get that done. And so the quote that they gave was it's $80,000, $80,950.13.
That's not our part of it though, right?
Yes.
Oh, I thought
Well,
we-
that's what the city would pay.
Mhm.
The city would also pay engineering costs. I don't know what those are. I think it's about 3 or 5 or 4,000. Those aren't included in here because I didn't have it at the time that this went out. And then, so the city would pay, and all of this would be paid for by latecomers agreements if everyone connected.
Mhm.
Whereas because it's a very set line, it's not going to be extended anywhere else. So whereas in the past for Main D, the city paid half of it because it will go to further customers. This is just filling a gap.
Mhm.
And we sent a notice to all of the property owners. One of them I talked to in person here, the other one I talked to over the phone, and they were wanting to know when they could connect.
Wow.
Good.
I was shocked, but yes, so.
Well, I noticed
Very
that the
enthusiastic.
fees were a lot less than on the D.
Right, and that's because, so Main D, that extension was $400,000
Mhm.
when all was said and done. So when I heard it was $80,000, I said, we should do it.
Right.
So. They don't have to do any repaving over it. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why it's less expensive. So it's also a shorter section, maybe 500 feet. Yeah, 2 runs. So, yes.
Okay, anything further?
You have anything, Carolyn?
No, there's still like the technical side of it. So there's still like the agreement side and, we're working on that. I think that's later though, right? This
Yes, it
just
is.
the
Yeah. So
late
this
coverage.
needs to be approved before we do any other contract approval with the project. There's a
Whispered process.
process. There's a process.
Stop it.
Any public comment?
I will say something.
Okay, if you could,
It's on the
state
shingle
your.
here, Rick Levin.
Okay, Rick, thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna cooperate with the city 100% on this. We have other things that are coming up on the next council meeting that we'll need to get on the agenda for. But right now, looking at what's been sent to me as far as agreements, the only thing I'm concerned about is the latest agreement doesn't actually have the legal description of where that pipe is gonna be located. And, you know, we just can't do an open one because I don't want one right in the middle of the lot somewhere. It just has to be cleaned up.
Yeah.
But we will cooperate with this young lady.
And this
Thank
is
you,
separate from any other agreements as well. So this could be approved. If that falls through, then it's still fine. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't obligate us to anything either. So,
Yeah, there's no.
and if that,
obligation there.
yeah.
We've already discussed that. It's bottom line, we're coming in for something different, which we'll do next month. But you know, which something that we want, but we will cooperate with the city.
Thank
We
you,
want the
Rick.
city to have a smile on its face. I'm surprised you got two people wanting to hook up.
I was surprised too.
I am as well.
I forget.
And
which
it's my understanding that we're gonna pay for this first, me, and then reimburse later on after a council. I'm assuming.
Did we talk
That-
about that?
That'd be mitigation agreement discussion.
Yeah, the mitigation
Just a
agreement
minute.
does that.
So we are taking a little step out there, but that's fine. We're comfortable. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you.
And
You're
the
welcome.
reason for that is obviously is that we do avoid the prevailing wage. We don't have to go for
Right.
bid. We don't have to get 5 bids. We don't
No,
have to
that's,
talk about.
that's all lost.
And Rick's got an outfit that's sitting up there, so we.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I don't have them very much longer. guys.
Yeah. it's fine,
And that's
yeah.
why, yeah, sorry, we
Hold on.
didn't think about this when we were doing the
Everything's
development.
About ready to
Yeah.
hold, so.
Yeah, yeah.
I have to give them the green light and sign up.
Time is of the
That's the work
essence.
order.
Yes, time
So
is
It
of
might
the
be something
essence.
that needs to be discussed tonight or.
Yes.
Yeah, hang out for a little bit, Rick, because we'll get into more
Sure.
on that
Oh,
in
yeah.
a little bit.
Okay,
Mhm.
any other public comment? Okay, we'll close public comment at 6:29. Further discussion? Comments, questions? Okay,
I need more sewage hookups, so yes.
I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the Terry Lane Extension Latecomers Agreement reimbursement area and assessment calculation as presented with changes as discussed.
Second.
Okay, first and second, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Okay, sewer plant update.
Yeah, yeah.
Yay.
Carolyn, it's your turn.
Yep, says very similar things to what it says every month. We're meeting our TSS VOD bacteria requirements. When working with the Stellar J on the water treatment plant upgrades. They're shifting focus towards the lab building renovations and then also conveyance. So if they're getting out of their massive basins that they've been constructing. The collection systems project is complete. That would be the Rock Creek one. I guess there's one more inspection from the funding agency for that guy, but punch list is done. Going out for bid on the pump station project. We were hoping to this week, but it's probably likely to be pushed. I mean, it's obviously pushed to next week at the earliest. Cascade Ave utility improvements for that's still kind of hanging out there. So there's one fish in the clarifier, and I guess he's been named Thor.
Nice.
So
Right.
I like it.
that's kind of the.
Is he open for viewing?
You don't want to view.
I'll walk that plank.
That thing is.
And then I'm working on getting the application through EPA and all of their boxes checked to start getting reimbursed for that grant so that we can stop drawing on our loan and generating interest that we'll have to pay back. It's processing.
It's always a process.
It's always a process.
Since we eased the moratorium on connections, have we gotten any new?
No, I haven't seen any new commercial sewer connections come through.
Okay.
You. And we're still working on the system development charge updates there. We got them the information and they're reviewing all of our assets, information, and we'll go from there.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Carolyn. Okay, Shoreline Public Access Plan. Did Ben make it?
Ben, are you able to connect?
The connection isn't great, but hopefully you can hear me on that side.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I will try to keep this brief, mainly to introduce the document in front of you, the next steps, and then also Alex Capron, the project manager for DGC Watershed, that's leading this project for us. So the document in front of you is the first draft of the Shoreline Integrated Public Access and Trails Plan. It is certainly a draft at this phase. We've identified some areas that definitely need to be kept through the review process. That is really related to the interaction between the Iman Cemetery Road community, Upper Rock Creek Falls, and the county property on the north side. Really focusing on that. We got a lot of support from that community about keeping the intended project in the plan. We received some requests for changes from the Department of Ecology for the document as a whole. They're a reviewing body for this and our grant agency. So there will be some changes made as a result of that. There have been requests for changes to the portions of the plan dealing with West Cascade and the Bob's Beach area. And so we'll anticipate changes being made there. And then staff in our review has other changes that we'll be proposing. So there is no recommendation of approval on this at tonight's meeting, but do want to provide the document so that you can get an idea for what's in there, how this plan will lead to future decisions like you made tonight for the capital improvement plan or the transportation improvement plan, where a new list of projects gets built in, prioritized, moved around in time. It has been a good process, an exciting process to get this going. It's exciting to bring you this draft, and it's been good working with the Watershed company. And so I will turn it over to Alex, who I believe has a presentation to give to ground you in what's in the document.
I can then see if that worked.
We're sitting in the wrong spot now.
Did you want to look at the button screen and just stare at the little thing that's spewing voices out of it?
No.
Right. Thank you, Liana, for.
Yeah, sorry.
I was a little worried, but
Mhm.
hello, council. Yeah, thanks for having me here tonight. Yeah, again, Alex Capron, a senior planner with DCG Watershed. I got a short presentation here.
Just out of curiosity.
Wouldn't it be that?
Alex is quieter than that.
It's coming from there.
All right.
That's okay.
Great. So yeah, let's see. All right. So we're talking about the integrated shoreline public access and trails plan here for Stevenson. So kind of walk through our steps to get to this point, how we've kind of arranged the document and what's its purpose. Yeah, the need for an emphasis on public engagement for this project, the design methodology, and then I'll touch on a couple of projects and then yeah, walk through some next steps. So you know, what is the need? What is the impetus for this shoreline public access and trails plan? So both the state and the city shoreline master program, and just to back up a little bit, the shoreline master program.
Alex, sorry, 1 second. Did you move from the first slide? Because we're still seeing the first slide.
Oh no!
Sorry, it switched screens.
Is it not It's not.
It's not on the
shifting?
presentation mode on our
Oh,
screen.
shoot. Okay,
Sorry.
that's okay. Let's see.
Yeah, that
How about
works.
now? Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
That's
Perfect, thanks.
unfortunate that, yeah, it won't let me present then. So I guess I can just navigate through the slides here. Yeah, so I guess the whole impetus here for this plan is it helps replace, the site-by-site requirements that the Shoreline Master Program regulates. So shorelines of the state are the waterward and landward of the Columbia River, Rock Creek, and Rock Cove. And by setting up a group of projects that have been in part vetted by the public as well as analyzed, that helps both the city and developers have a clear understanding where public access should occur. And yeah, what's really neat about this process has been the multiple touch points, having the public get engaged in guiding the decision making. Yeah, also this plan is kind of a pre-design effort to get the city towards Recreation and Conservation Office grant funding to help spearhead the implementation efforts for these projects as they move on to the design phase. So with any grant funded project, it's got to have a master plan in place to spell that out. So looking at public engagement, so there were a few different touch points here. Really with the first being a workshop and open house. It really started with a public engagement plan that we prepared and provided to Planning Commission and the steering committee for this project, which outlines how we can go about getting the public engaged, and that has started with a dedicated website to this project. Also including advertisements in the Skamania Pioneer, the Facebook page, and then as Ben has mentioned in previous meetings, we also posting at affordable housing complexes in the city. But really the workshop was to get a chance to get a series of thematic maps in front of the public, looking at physical, network, and shoreline experience maps where they could comment on and provide arrows, post-it notes, and really kind of direct the comments into, well, what do you want to see? Where are their gaps? Where are their opportunity areas? And we received over 100 comments as part of that initial workshop. So that initial open house led us and really, I guess before I jump to that, after the open house, we also engaged with stakeholders. Namely, there were residents in Upper Rock Creek that were, observing some nuisances related to, access through private property, so not public access, essentially, and hearing their concerns and recognition, and seeing if there is interest there and channelize public access, but making that part of this project too, and hearing them. Also we met with the county to discuss the fairgrounds and efforts related to what kind of access is an option there. So with the open house, we did find some different feedback areas. One of the main ones, which we've incorporated in a couple projects, is having neighborhood connections and downtown connections to the waterfront. So you've got your upland neighborhoods. How can a public access and trails plan bring residents safely down to the shoreline? So that was a key one. Also including circulation trails. Where is a trail terminus? How can that be enhanced and connected through different properties, if those properties are appropriate for public access? And then a common one being environmental stewardship and how can we pair projects that have an environmental restoration element with that public access. So when we stepped away from the open house, we looked at all the GIS layers that we had from Skamania County and prepared different sets of analyses. So looking at physical constraints, network, so existing sidewalks and trails and where there were gaps there. And then we set up a scoring system. So this is a network map that we had, and we actually scored, based on, in this case, based on property. So if it was a city-owned parcel, it had a higher score than if it were county-owned or private-owned. And so we could start to see trends. And so as we built in that, basically those zonal statistics in GIS, we were able to start weighing different characteristics. So with this map that shows the 9 projects that we came up with that were presented as part of the charrette, we you start to see trends. So anything that scores higher is a darker shade here in terms of the GIS analysis. So steep slopes, erosion hazard areas, wetlands, were constraints that were scored less. And so this is, definitely, not only public influenced, but also had that analysis component. And, with that, there's also kind of the piece of how does this shoreline public access trails plan integrate with existing master plans? So you've got the comprehensive plan, which policies kind of fit into these different projects, as well as the wayfinding plan, the downtown plan for success. These are all types that we looked at. So as we moved into the second round of public engagement, kind of a second open house, we looked at a design charrette, looking at these 9 projects, and we set up a series of 2 exercises, one of which being a kind of a voting exercise where each attendee was given $5,000, so 5 $1,000 bills to basically pledge into a project of their choice. So if we go back, we've got the 9 projects here. There was a lot of desire between the interpretive center, the 3 waterfront projects, and then the upper Rock Creek Falls, the county project. So those scored really highly on this dollar exercise front. So that was a neat participation technique. We also looked at a dot exercise. So within several projects, there is also the opportunity to weigh in on a different project alternative. So here you've got project 2 to enhance connections to the Mill Pond Trail from downtown, and 3 alternatives looking at either wayfinding stamps along the sidewalk, a sidewalk along the north side to connect downtown to Mill Pond, and then a third option being the multi-use trail. So vote in and weigh that the sidewalk was the favored choice. So with this engagement, this is ongoing. Ben mentioned that this is not an adoption meeting. This is a draft. There's opportunity for discussion and comment tonight. We have had 3 planning commission meetings to date, including one this last Monday. And as part of this charrette, there's opportunities to write down, hey, are we missing anything? Are there projects that you're not seeing here, so that those can actually get some light in this plan? And there was one attendee that even included, hey, I don't want to pledge my money towards any of these 9 projects. I would rather see aquatic invasive species be managed in Rock Cove, and that's where I'd like to see my funds and my vote spent. So that's something there that falls more on the maintenance spectrum. So, and I'll move right to the plan itself. So when you look at these projects here, we've got this is Appendix C in the report. We looked at scores from, a variety of different angles, right? So you've got your GIS score, your charrette score, which is that money exercise. And then we started to kind of formulate, methodologies for, what is an approximate cost? What would this take? What is that score? And so that's something that we're ironing out as we wrap this project up. And as we look at these categories, we start to see, different projects bubble to the top. There is a heavy weight in public influence on, hey, these are projects that the public is really keen on moving forward. And we can move to, some of these projects also dovetail into kind of the grant aspect of this project where, so this is project 3. This is
We're not, Alex, we're not seeing that. It didn't jump to the,
shoot. Okay.
yeah.
Well, maybe
It stayed on the PowerPoint.
it stays on the PowerPoint. Okay. I could try to stop share and share the PDF itself just to walk through.
Mhm.
Let's see. Okay, yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, so to go to the scorecard itself, since you weren't able to see my screen. So this kind of outlines some of the different scoring criteria and different timelines for construction, permit coordination, and these were not weighed as heavily as kind of the GIS, kind of the technical data and the public piece have shown. But I do want to hit home that, even if there are projects that appear to be scored better than others, all projects can move forward. There isn't one that's, any more restrictive than the other. It's, some of these projects, let's see. So I will go to project 7 is a good example of a project that scored really well. So that's the connection to Rock Creek Falls. But it also has some initial hoops to go through. So this being, it's on county property. There's no infrastructure set up in place. There would have to be some discussions and some understanding established with the county first before any kind of potential project or further developed concept could move forward. So, the idea to create some limited parking and a trail down so that folks can view the falls from a platform, that's a concept, but it's a little more preliminary than another project. So the other one that I had up that I wasn't sharing the screen of, this is one that you have, a developer that is interested. Nothing has happened, currently, but there's definitely some connections as well as some linkages from the master planning standpoint. The circulation goal of the comprehensive plan in terms of adding a connection through or a right-of-way extension through Rock Creek Drive, as well as the shoreline public access itself and connection to Rock Cove. And so this is where the Shoreline Master Program amendment part that'll be that is discussed a little bit in our report can be brought to light, where you can have an amendment that allows for public-private partnerships. It allows for a fee in lieu of development to allow for synchronized public access and application of a project like this for grant funding in terms of purchasing an easement ahead of development, and right-of-way acquisition. Yeah, given that they're aligned and as part of this plan. So yes, I guess really to wrap up, I think this is, it's a great start for the city, and there is a lot of excitement, and it's important to kind of see, what are the near-term goals that can be met with this plan in terms of which projects can move forward and have the ability to do so. And also looking further off. So, where can connections be made to the waterfront that, hey, maybe this is something, 20 to 40 years down the road where you've got more connections to the waterfront that they're squiggly lines now. Maybe that turns into a project, given the city's, when it's in a different state. So I guess I'll leave that back to City Council. That are there any questions?
No.
I'm just glad to see Rock Creek Falls in it.
There was an additional comment that didn't make it into the packet as well as received this afternoon, and that's it was emailed to council, but I also printed it off for you to review as well. And as Ben had mentioned previously, still a draft plan, not in the CIP. Again, there's been points of community engagement, but again, not really ready to adopt right now. So there will be additional points of engagement. It will be on the July 20th council meeting for review, and we'll see where it's at that point as well, for if it's ready for approval or not. So
Thank you very much for your work on that,
Thank you.
both you and Ben. Been a long time coming.
Yeah, you're welcome. Very welcome.
Okay, well, thank you. Okay, council business. Richard's, Steve's short plat right-of-way acceptance. Ben, I guess that's you.
That's me. The planning department has approved a 2-lot land division. One of the conditions of the approval was to dedicate right-of-way to satisfy public works standards. The staff can require dedication, but we cannot accept dedication on behalf of the city. And so we're asking the city council to authorize the mayor to accept dedication of about a 6-foot strip of right-of-way along this 2-lot land division on Connect Creek Road.
Ready for a motion, or are we still discussing? I'll make a motion to accept the right of way as outlined in the conditions of acceptance for the Richard Steves short plat SP 23-02.
First and second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Okay. Sewer.
thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Ben. Okay, discuss the sewer connection requirements. Carolyn.
Okay, so concerns that we've been hearing, affordable housing is a big one, and so are rates. I know we talked a little bit before about how to address both those items, and this really comes down to like a supply and demand. There's not as many houses, they get more expensive, and if there's not as many connections, it gets more expensive. So one of the things we've talked about a little bit internally is how to make sure that the infrastructure that's being developed to support all of the citizens and homes within the city limits, rather than just the ones who are connected to sewer, is to address new connections. I'm not as familiar, but it was brought to my attention in the comprehensive plan that, and so that you'll see on your future land use map link. On the third page, it shows a map of, map of the city, identifying low density residential, high density residential, different areas that were designated that as part of the comprehensive plan. And Ben, jump in if I am stumbling over any of this. I know he's more familiar with this, but I guess kind of the big statement that triggered for us was on page 1 in the urban reserve. It's identified as an area within which future development and extension of public services are contemplated but not imminent. Existing uses, particularly vacant lands and very low density single family housing, coexist with uses otherwise characteristics of more rural areas. Further development within an urban reserve is discouraged until public services can be provided and urban level densities and intensities of land use can occur. So part of this plan says discourage the development until the services are there to support the development. In our general sewer plan and our water plan, we've outlined projects that would need to occur to provide those services to kind of those outlying areas. And so we're trying to get there. It's expensive to get there. And every time we see an opportunity, we've been taking it. I think the concern is that in order to get those densities and to get those connections, the big mansion on 5 acres out on septic has got to stop because there's no opportunity for development after that. There's no reason to extend sewer after that if we're not getting those higher densities. Again, Ben, jump in if I'm botching this entirely, or Liana. But in essence, what's being proposed is to line up our 13 code with the comprehensive plan recommendations. Currently, under 1308-070, it's page 8 in the chapter 1308 PDF that's in the packet. It would be, currently it says, a lot. It says it's the most massive run-on sentence I've ever seen, but it basically says if your building is within 300 feet of public sewer, you've got to connect. That doesn't capture the statements in the comprehensive plan as it relates to the urban reserve. And so what's being proposed here is just to get this code in alignment with the comprehensive plan and require those properties located within the urban reserve on the comprehensive plan or future land use map. Those would all need to connect as well. So this is very much a first draft. And it's again to address the direction and what appears to be, council motivation to get rates under control and get some affordable housing. So this is one way that we consider that we might be able to move the needle a little bit on that.
And so staff didn't want to go any further with outreach and engagement and talking to people if council was a hard no on this as an option. So this is just a first, yeah, right. We don't want to spend money and time
Right.
further on this if it's,
It's a hard no.
yeah. But as far as our priorities go and what we've wanted to do, this kind of goes along the lines of that intentional development and sort of setting aside, like in our comprehensive plan, it has those areas of this is how it should be developed. And so this is just aligning the code with those plans, kind of along the lines of our priorities. And while it will be harder for development of the single family homes on large lots, because you can't, it doesn't make sense to extend a sewer line for one home. It makes more sense if you can spread that same cost across 5 or 10 homes. So there's a risk involved, but it just depends on what the vision of the council is and the willingness.
So what's the advantage of me buying a 5-acre lot? Put my home on and then being told that you can't put your home on there. That's gotta be, that 5-acre lot is not gonna be one home, it's gonna be 10 homes.
You can put your home on there.
Just
gonna be much more
connected to the sewer.
What's that?
You can still put your home on there. You just gotta extend the sewer to support your home. You can't do a septic there.
It'll just be more
It's
expensive.
more expensive because you have to connect to the sewer if you're within 300 feet.
Right.
So you can still put one house on a 5-acre lot. It's just gonna cost you more to connect than it would
If I divided that property up.
Right.
So why buy the property if I wanna have my house in the middle of the property?
Because you don't have to see your neighbors.
I mean,
It's
it's
just gonna cost me more money.
correct.
Well, and the other side of it too is, okay, why do you want to live in a city? And it's to have proximity to services.
The services, right? If you're in city limits,
So if you want that 5 acres and that pristine, I can't see my neighbors, it's not really conducive to city living. So, right.
Yeah, if you want your well, you want your septic, you want to, if you want to homestead it, don't live in the city.
right? Essentially, that's what this is saying. It's just putting it to, if you're gonna buy inside city limits, no matter how big your lot is, you're gonna need to connect. And that's kind of from the idea of intentional growth and making services available to all the people who live inside the city limits goes along with what we've been talking about since last year at this time,
Yeah.
if I'm hearing it right.
Within 300 feet of a connection, right?
This says within the urban reserve,
Mm.
so it expands upon that. It's 300 feet to a property line, or if you're within the urban reserve. So
there's no distance requirement for the urban reserve.
and I don't know how often like the comprehensive plan is like reviewed or that map could change, but we left it open again to try to get alignment with what we're saying we want,
Mhm.
and then requiring. It's been a challenge of mine to, hear, okay, well, yeah, you don't have to connect, knowing that every time I say that, it's like, that's something that the rest of the city who is connected, like, now they don't, it's one more,
We're not offsetting any. We're not-
yeah, one more offset.
Right.
So it's like one more lost opportunity to spread that cost amongst the people in the city for which those systems were designed.
And this would be a requirement for new construction. It's not like we're going to people that,
No,
right?
Well,
that would mean I would.
so-
have to
right.
put-
So historically, that's not, to my understanding, that's, at least since the short year that I've been here, I have not required that. But as part of this, I did want, as I was, reading it closely, I did want to point everyone to page 10, 1308-150. That says at such time public sewer becomes available to a property served by a private sewage disposal as provided, a direct connection shall be made to the public sewer in compliance with this chapter. So it's in there that's saying people are required to do it, but we haven't been policing that.
Well, no, so
We're gonna
this,
adjust
yeah,
there?
you're required to do it for new construction. It doesn't require it currently for any expansion unless the system isn't adequate for the expansion that you're doing.
That's not the truth though.
No, that's the change.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right,
So-
right. I was
right,
just
right.
pointing them down to the
Yes.
section that says,
So on page 10,
Mhm.
it would be changed to include the expansion or replacement. So,
well,
and did
that
you
already
have,
says. You're on mute.
yeah. His hand was up for a second. There you
Oh, it was about a previous topic.
go. Sorry.
It's been up that long, huh?
No, it was, just in the, embracing the urban reserve concept. That's something that really helped Carolyn through this. She was kept up at night thinking, okay, how do we justify 300 feet to begin with? How could we consider a change to 500 feet or 1,000 feet or citywide? And there's no way to present that story. There's no justification for any specific distance there. But then embracing the comprehensive plan, which I'm thrilled that to see citywide that as a concept, it establishes a real expectation for what the densities are going to be. And so in these areas where we're anticipating higher density development, we're making that possible. In the areas where we're anticipating lower density development, that 300 feet doesn't keep creeping into those areas. We're anticipating lower density development, and so we're not requiring the extension into those areas anymore.
Yeah, no decision required tonight,
Right.
but
Right. Like to see what those system development fees would look like. For. Say what he's saying, 5-acre lot with one house on it. Like as far away as you can get possibly within the urban development area.
oh, like what a private homeowner would need to pay.
$400,000
Mhm.
plus to extend the sewer line. You could do a latecomers agreement though, because everyone else in your area would now be able to connect. But again, and that's kind of where I was saying where it doesn't pencil out for a single home to pay that
Mhm.
much. It would for 10 homes, maybe.
Right, so if you wanted that, you would just have to buy outside of the city.
You asked Rick just put in, a whole sewer system for.
Yeah, you guys are sitting there talking about 300 feet, that's expensive. I'm sorry, are you guys putting it in or is it?
No.
No, we're not making decisions.
And then when they do put
We're
it in,
talking.
they give it to the city for free. Yes, they
They
do,
would have a they could have a latecomers
could.
agreement to get.
not guaranteed, and I won't have one there. I'm still turning over, $600,000 sewer lines to the city, but it has to be done. So what normally happens in the development world, if the developer buys a piece of property, he brings it up from wherever it's at. I don't care if it's a mile away or whether it's 2 miles away. It's his fault, and he gets the latecomers. They're usually restricted to a 7-year period. So I don't know what your length of latecomers is.
The code changed to 20.
Probably in this area, you won't get your latecomers fees after 7 years expired.
20 years.
It's 20 years now.
Is it 20?
Yeah,
Well,
they
20,
extended it a
I won't
couple
be
years ago.
alive, but yeah.
You'll be on your next project.
Oh, no, this is it.
Oh,
Retirement sitting there in front of me, so. But no, I mean, I don't understand what the urban reserve area is, though. I mean, you're talking about everything
The
that's
city.
currently within the city limits.
It's actually not, there's some low density.
So it's not in the city limits yet. But it's a reserve area that they're kind of looking at, right, Ben? These deliver. Because it could give me the thing is, why annex it? Why would I
The-
want to annex it? if I-
It's already in the city.
Okay, so it's inside the city.
Yeah.
It's not too bad, especially with latecomers, but it is expensive.
Yeah, urban reserve is different than urban growth boundary.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So urban reserve is this lighter orange color.
Okay,
And
but it's
then-
in the city limits. So
Mhm.
Yes,
Everything we're
yes.
talking about.
Everything.
Everything
That's
is within
already.
city limits. Yes, yes.
That's fair. I mean, I know it's expensive, but there's a lot of properties here that are 2 acres, 3 acres. That probably aren't on sewer right now.
Well,
Mhm.
didn't a lot go for over $200,000 though in Hidden Ridge?
225.
So, I mean, if you're getting that for a lot with utilities at the lot line,
Well, what would you say?
a lot in Hidden Ridge went for $225,000.
Yeah, but
So
the developer put it in and gave the sewer.
exactly, it increases the value of the lot.
Well, first off, the developer put it in
All right, that
and
was
then went
crazy about
bankrupt
And then, well,
and never
that's-
paid Crestline. So it got put in for free.
Well,
In terms
So
of the
that's
shit.
true, there is some
That was,
problems.
the shit deal up there.
Yeah, but no, I know which lot it is. I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about. But I mean, it's,
Maybe that was
again,
up
you're estimating what
It's all-
a private person's
Oh.
gonna make on that. Where it's really not up to a city to decide what they make and what they don't.
No, it's not. And so that's where
No.
we decide what type of development we want where.
Right.
But if you want that type of development, latecomers at 20 years is great. Cause that'll bring in development.
Mhm.
The 7-year thing was really too short. I missed some of it in Vancouver. But yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
somebody comes in and they'll benefit by it, by bringing it up. There's no doubt.
Mhm.
I think a lot of things you gotta look at also though is cooperation with the developer. Not saying you have to do with me, but what I'm saying is to encourage it, you might take a look at your hookup fees or something like that to encourage it all. I mean, that's all.
Mhm.
Because it doesn't do any good to have, an opportunity to get 20 hookups at 8,500, but nobody's gonna do it. But maybe the guy will come in and say, well, that many hookups for 4,000, and I'll run the sewer line up there and do latecomers fees. I'll do it. So you gotta kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
There's gotta be indictments to guys that are gonna come in and be as stupid as I was. So that's all there is.
There's not a lot of you around.
Good fun. Yeah, it's reasonable.
Mhm. So yeah,
Okay.
our next step of this would be reaching
So
out
move it forward.
and public engagement. Just. Yeah. Reaching out to everyone in those that owns
Areas.
property,
Mhm.
saying, hey, this is on the table.
Do we want to have a public hearing or a workshop on it?
We'll
talk about
Okay.
options for all that. Yeah.
We're not hearing a
That
hard
might be
no.
a good one for a workshop.
A workshop. Yeah.
Mhm. I know a lot of builders would like to be involved with that.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. But we're not hearing a hard no, is that right?
Mhm.
Okay.
I mean, no, you're not hearing.
Yeah.
it.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. Approval of resolution surplus items. Leon?
Carolyn.
Low hanging fruit here.
Right, yeah.
A
A
bunch of
little
broken-
behind the ball,
yeah,
sorry.
Bunch of broken equipment. Can we sell it, please?
Right, that's
Right.
None of it looked very attractive.
Yeah, the list was like,
This
I'll
one has
take
no
care.
brakes.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and again, the grader and the tractor were surplus prior to the resolution, sorry about that.
I'll make
But
a
look how much we got out of it.
Unless anybody wants to talk about the no brakes. I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2023-409 surplusing equipment.
second,
First and second. Any further discussion?
Nope.
Wow, David talks.
I
All in
want
favor?
that Delmont.
Aye.
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 I,
Thank you. Okay, fire mitigation.
It's next. Sorry, I didn't,
Oh.
order these right.
Okay, perfect. So just to jump back to the Chinadier sewer extension. You guys see a map there. We would be picking up there's a map in the
Okay.
packet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 500 feet, linear feet of main line. It's not under a road. It's a very, very cost-effective way to extend the sewer. We have a couple folks who are already interested. We've been working, with Rick on the easement. For this, I know one of the things that will come to you guys next, currently, there is a path slated along these top properties. So it would be in between the proposed lots and the current homes that are above. And so there is a public access easement already proposed for that area. We would need to get a utility easement to be able to install this line. Contractor's there, he's eager, he's ready. Developer has shared that they're interested. One of the other, kind of items within this project, and maybe, not directly related to this, but something we did want to put out there was, developer will be coming in to, are we not bringing that up?
No, we just need to kind of just give them the overview right now,
Yeah,
because we haven't made any decisions on what we should do with that.
right. But we wanted to share that staff was comfortable, would be able to.
Right, I mean, they,
You say the right thing. I just say what in my head.
It's a quasi judicial decision, and so I just wanted to make sure that we.
ultimately, what will come before council is we are going to exchange one easement for a different easement, so there won't be a gift of any funds. We're not giving away anything, we're actually getting something, they're giving something. But we do have to go back and follow the approved preliminary plat procedures to do that. So in essence, while the developer is working with us on the front end, they are also putting their neck out a little bit, because if you guys were to reject that at some point and require strict adherence to the prior approved plan, the developer might have a little concern coming back, which would not be fair to them.
Right.
Because,
Well, we're gonna fully cooperate.
right, Rick described the subcontractor, or the contractor is out there now, available, the dollars work out, the timing works out. So we have to move a little quicker with a portion of the agreement that we need to work with on the other side.
So how do we move quicker?
We're gonna approve the mitigation plan that will allow you to move forward. And then when we come back to actually change the preliminary plat so that the developer can then issue their final plat and start selling lots up there, that will be an adjustment on that final plat that needs to be approved.
Okay,
That
that's
we've
the
replaced one for
motion
one.
here.
Right, so when it's time for that, you'll remind us, hey, by the way, this is the one for one.
Right, right.
Yeah, all right.
So that'll just be a decision that has to be made by council.
And so what's in the council packet is the latest version we have. I think Rick was sharing that there are some concerns with it. And I think council can approve it with modifications as approved by, as needed, and then we can ratify it at the next council meeting.
So make the
to
motion
make
with
it-
modifications as needed.
Yeah. Just like she said.
Are you ready? Or you want me to?
You better do it.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the environmental mitigation agreement with the Goodisman Development LLC to extend the sewer line along Terry Lane as presented with what? With modifications
As needed.
as needed.
As needed
Per
for legal
Robert.
purposes.
Okay. Good move. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Wow. First and second. Any further discussion?
No.
It talks. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
I'll extend it tomorrow.
Look at that,
There we go.
tomorrow.
Boom.
I don't have plans yet for you. Doing the plans for mine? That's
Um,
one thing I didn't understand. Who's doing the engineering?
we talked to Dustin about doing. about the plan.
You know how to do this.
And we also-
Put a rock under one side, keep
Yeah.
You carry the ball on it, I'll sign the work order. We'll just put it in.
We don't have.
But we gotta get engineering. I mean, you gotta approve it, all your stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, personal policy update.
Perfect. Yeah, exactly. Yep. So personnel policy, there are a couple of things that we were looking at, in the personnel policy, and I outlined them individually in the, memo, so you don't have to go through all of the pages to find the changes. A large part of it was job descriptions. So, one of them being, we took over the wastewater treatment plant, and we had one operator.
Right.
And that operator is now a level 2 operator. And we are working on looking at different structures, because we're going to be bringing on another operator. And so that's a majority of the changes to the job descriptions. We're changing that supervisory structure. So, and then we are going to look at more of the public works structure as they go through a strategic planning session to kind of dial it in. It just hasn't been changed in years, and we've changed quite a bit. So, by adding the treatment plant full time. Again, and so then as people get promoted to higher classifications, again, as that works, as it was originally written, it basically said you move up to the higher level and then increase a step. So if you were at a step 5, you would then be promoted. So you'd automatically get a raise if you stayed at that, just that same step 5. And then you'd move to a step 6. So you'd get more money, but that as you move up on a scale, it assumes you are more proficient at that job. And so while we wanted to allow that person to not take a pay cut when they get promoted, we still wanted to allow that room for growth and a reflection of where they were at within that job. So
Are we saving money now that we don't have a contractor doing that? Like, didn't we have a contractor in there?
yes, we did. And no, we're not.
Oh,
The reason why we had a contract operator was to save money.
right.
And so when we're doing it all ourselves, we're paying the electric bill. And so those 3 alone, like our cost for the, and then the cost for electricity and operator and disposal, would probably run 150 to 200, just
Mhm.
depending on things. And then when we add more equipment, we're adding more utility costs and all that other fun stuff. So the benefit though is it's being run better.
Right.
So we're not violating. Yeah, we don't have any violations. And then another thing that we changed was the certification pay. So right now it states that you have to be fully tapped out on your steps for at least a year before you get any of that certification pay. Well, if someone gets a certification that they're not required to have and the city benefits from that, they shouldn't have to wait to then be compensated for that benefit the city's getting. And so that's what the change is for. And we also need that depth of employees as well. So it would benefit both of us.
Right.
So that's the change. And then looked at the utilities clerk and deputy clerk and public works planning assistant job descriptions as that's going around and as the position is posted. So the position was posted with these changes, assuming that they would be approved. Big assumption, yes.
Motion to approve. Resolution 2023-410, revising the personnel policy,
Second.
period.
First and seconded. Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Thank you.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Civic Plus agreement. Yeah,
Yeah, so Civic Plus is where we do our online code hosting.
otherwise known as originally Municipal.
Yeah, Muni Code. Yep, all the fun things. And so they were bought by Civic Plus and are getting around to changing some things. And one of them being how they bill. So every time, so it used to be, we would send in an ordinance, they would be like, okay, well, it has this many pages and it has this many tables and this many figures. This is your bill. And now it's, well, this is kind of the volume of what you used to be billed. This is kind of what we think you'll keep doing. And so we'll bill you an annual fee of $2,000. So that's the change.
So is it more? Than we were.
About, it actually is, it's a push. It depends. So if we start cranking through all sorts of ordinances with all sorts of tables and technical stuff, it's cheaper,
Okay. Well, I'm not
So-
saying let's do that,
Right.
but that's cool.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, okay, interesting.
Mhm.
It's time. Is it time? Motion to approve the agreement with Pacific Plus for codification and services as outlined in the statement of work for the initial term amount of $3,261.52 and a 5% annual increase.
Second,
What's the term?
Jake, show me a copy.
It's, the initial term is 3 years.
Okay, first and second. Any further discussion? No, all in favor?
Aye.
You.
This one.
Okay.
Riverside Cabins.
I think you're making it more
Sewer
complicated.
adjustment.
So I wanna, so there's a couple of things. One is, so Wilden and Pine, they're a commercial customer, and so therefore they're charged for sewer based on the water consumption. And this leak went to the ground. I think it was under one of the buildings, Mary, sorry, I don't know all the details. And so they requested a forgiveness of the sewer portion because it did not go through the sewer system. We did this exact thing for the lodge when they found that there was a water leak that went into their stormwater system. So,
That was before I was city attorney and I was counsel for the lodge, so I just.
okay,
But you did approve that.
yes, we did. So,
But they hadn't requested previously, like this one.
right, and so they, the other thing is, Wilden Pine also had a water leak request earlier in the year that was also significant compared to usage. And that water usage bill was capped at the $1,000. So our utility, our leak request doesn't have a like, hey, if you're a commercial customer, you don't have that $1,000 cap or anything like that. So one thing, if you felt uncomfortable with that, you could take the $1,000 off of the wastewater flow adjustment and kind of like, we'll say, okay, well, we'll just kind of negate that last one and
That's
give
what
an
I was
adjustment of
thinking.
$2,270.61. And then it's like that one in February never occurred.
Right,
But
that's what I was thinking.
and it's every 5 years that this in essence gets reset. So
And that was my main concern, is that we do have, you can't do a leak forgiveness except every 5 years.
This is just for the sewer charge, the what?
Right.
yeah, so they're not asking for the water charge. They're just asking for the sewer.
Because there was no water going.
Because it wasn't going in.
Yeah,
Right.
'cause it didn't go into sewer.
So they're asking for $3,270.61.
And that's
Sewer-
all the
in
sewer
sewer
flow
fee.
costs.
In the sewer
Yeah.
piece that they never used.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
that
didn't
we
go into
never,
your sewer.
we never had the process.
We didn't process any of that water.
Yes, right.
That makes it even more weird.
Mhm.
Sorry, Columbia River process.
Right,
Yeah.
processes a lot.
I mean,
All right,
Meeting.
I don't have a problem with that, just because it is like, none of that water went into the sewer at all, so
right.
waiving this portion, which is the sewer portion only, I don't see that for me as an issue. Other people may, but I don't. So.
Then what happens when it happens again and they come to us in 4 months?
They got a problem with their maintenance.
Right.
Right.
I say, yeah, they say they need to hire a new maintenance. man.
Yeah,
I mean, this
or
was
stop
a-
breaking pipes.
This changed hands not too long ago.
Right, yes,
Yeah.
this was,
This is Angus's place.
This Angus's, yeah,
Well, he's done with it now.
right. That's what I'm saying.
Retired.
These guys got it, and now everything
Yeah.
Now everything's breaking first.
as it always does. So,
Okay.
um,
Well, I'm not making a motion,
All right.
but I will second it, whatever it is.
How about this? I'll make a motion to approve the wastewater flow adjustment of $3,270.61 for Wilder and Pine Riverside Cabins, period.
Second,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay, move second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
I
I,
Aye. Okay, thank you. Public Works Interlocal Agreement.
All right, so we've been working with the county on a number of street projects for a while, and our interlocal's out of date, so this is cleaning up that relationship. The county does overlays, they chip sealing, they let us rent their crack sealer, they
like that.
Bridge inspections.
Bridge inspections is a big one. Yep. So this would just be kind of tidying that up.
Robert, you good with all the verbiage?
Yeah, I revised it, right,
Okay.
current.
I'll make a motion unless anybody wants to keep talking about it.
You're doing fine.
I'll make a motion to approve the interlocal agreement with Skamania County for Public Works Services as presented.
Okay, it's been moved. Do I hear a second?
Second,
Moved to second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
I almost said that. I was about to like stop.
Okay, financial report.
While you're having.
Yep, they're there.
Okay, thank you. And commission minutes.
those are there too.
Yep,
Mhm.
yep. Contracts were administratively right there.
Okay,
Mhm.
um,
Oh, just of note, we did get a little bit more money so they could spend more money on the shoreline access report and the public involvement. And so we got more money from the grant, and so we paid them more money than I think it's $15,000, and that's what's in
Yeah.
there.
It's in there.
okay, Ben, you're on.
Oh, no, he's not.
No,
was
Ben,
gonna
you're
say-
not on.
How many more staff
Plan,
reports
Ben.
can we
Thanks
He's
do?
for
a couple hours ahead of us.
There we go. Okay,
Mhm.
so, Carolyn,
And
anything further?
always.
Of course.
And in the water world, our consumer confidence report for 2022 is being drafted. It'll be on the bills, this June's bill. Leak surveying is in process. Found a couple leaks a few weeks ago and got them repaired, thanks to Evergreen Rural Water. Water use efficiency report will also go out this month, before the July 1 date. Let's see, wastewater, our sewer extension on Iman Cemetery completed today.
Did you
But-
pull the barricades today?
Should have, yeah,
Huh? Well,
yeah, they're supposed to.
walk through there now.
Yeah, you can drive through there now. Glad to hear that the Chino Deer extension is gonna go. We talked about wastewater treatment plant.
Kevin, I
Nothing
had
else.
one quick, on the, what is the last lot coming from basically No Name Road as it cuts up? That lot doesn't have a sewer extension. Is that a track A or a combination?
It should have. It should.
So can you put that back up? You had it 2 seconds. You know, it just seemed like it was. Yeah, never mind, never
On
mind.
here?
Yeah,
It-
yeah, all right.
That one?
Nope, go back over, go back, right there, that lot.
Oh.
There's not a
yeah.
connection.
It's
to
right
that
there,
one.
it's right there. That one.
Oh, it's come, okay, there it is.
Yeah.
There's a couple, there's a few big trees
Here.
that are right on the.
Oh, it's just like, well, screw those people, they don't get it. It's a picture.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a few big, yeah, there's a few big trees, so we didn't do a manhole at that and then go this way.
Right,
So we hit these homes by a manhole on the far end.
yeah, and then you've got the one all the way over there to get the
Yeah,
two,
so-
yeah.
Nothing on stormwater streets. McAvoy is being overlaid next week. And we will be extending to the end of the right of way on either end rather than stopping
Oh, good.
where we always have stopped. July, they're gonna be chip sealing that whole neighborhood. And
That Montel Terrace.
yeah,
area.
Montel Terrace, Vista, McAvoy, Ridgecrest, Wisteria,
Oof.
and El Paso.
You chip sealing all
El
that.
Paso.
El Paso is getting some love.
Wow,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
gonna need a lot of love.
I'm trying to sell that lot, but it's.
That's a hard one.
The one, I think that got sold.
Yeah, I thought it did get sold.
Mm-mm,
No,
Zero bone.
mm-mm.
I thought they're putting a check
Gas
number.
thing on it.
Yeah.
It's hard.
We listed Frank's place, is that you got?
Mm-mm. Oh, well. Mm.
The old spar tree.
Oh, no, it was us, but it wasn't me though. Yeah.
You got listed. in
Jay.
Jay, right?
Also
Oh,
Gail
2 weeks ago?
Jordan, number of Frank Johns. Gail Jordan Thomas, a number of Frank Johns.
Okay.
There were some that we put in for on Chinadier, but given the paving and the trucks and we don't want to do anything with that until Chinadier's done. So we'll throw that on next year.
You might want to, on your travels, you may want to take a look at the intersection at Pine and Shepherd.
Oh.
How cracked up the pavement is right there from the trucks. Boy, they've really hammered that. Oh, it's, yeah, it's bad. So anyway,
Yeah.
just in your travels,
Mhm.
because those trucks have made some major accomplishments on Pine and
Yeah.
It's impressive.
that intersection.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Oh, we got our wayfinding sign mock-ups, so those are moving. Equipment, surplus items, we got a new lawnmower purchase, so they no longer have to use a stick as the throttle. Back truck is still being used, lots of mowing with the new flail mower. Yeah, great. You know, another back truck success just today. Someone came in, they had, they were getting like backflow from the sewer line into their home. They went and TV'd it and found it was on our side. So we were able to go out, shut it out,
Take the truck.
yep, and walk away rather than call a
Somebody else.
plumber to come in,
Thousands of dollars.
thousands of dollars.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome.
So good,
Good to hear.
good stuff. Just more of that fun. Nothing with parks personnel. Susan put in her 2 weeks.
Oh, again.
Yeah,
Oh.
so
What's that? Say that again.
Susan put in her 2 weeks.
Oh,
Yeah, so
She moving again?
no, she got another gig. So, we'll
She
be
does a great job.
looking a little bit more on the.
Now, was that the position that was, we were
You're
splitting?
splitting that
The
one with the
Cascade
Port
Locks.
Cascade Locks, yeah.
Okay.
And that was.
That's
a
what I
less-
thought.
Yeah, that was a bit of a challenge.
Right.
So,
Has it been a challenge having that split?
not for me, but, yeah, it
The
wasn't.
position is more
was
challenging
difficult.
because it's, I think, two different types of jobs.
Okay.
And then, we have our first strategic planning session, next week. So we met with the, facilitator today and feel like we'll make some good headway on that. The second one's in July. That's all I have.
thank you. We on?
Take it back from your Google.
No, it's okay. No, I didn't want to distract people while I was doing this. So I've been beta testing a ClearGov. So ClearGov is what we have our budget fund stuff through. I'm working on doing some updates to the data, and then I'll do more input on doing the transparency portion of it, which shows some really cool things. I can show you that later. But actually here, let me share the screen. Maybe,
Over there, click the share button.
oh, there we go. It's a little slow, sorry. Share. Okay, there we go. So this is clear plans. And so, like I said, it's in beta right now. And I put our strategic plan in there. Look at that.
You
So
like it? How'd they do
I-
that?
I know magic. I've only put the land use and development planning in there. See, we have
Mhm.
progress and strategies. But it does everything that I was trying to do with
Wow.
the other stuff. So, you know, it gives you information on, it stops moving. Again, this is beta version, you know, 2.
Pretty cool.
They've made some updates, but it gives you the overall status. You can then focus, kind of see what check-ins are coming up. But then if you go back into the plans and into the specific areas, it then shows kind of like, okay, well, here are our strategies. And so here are the various action items that we have for engineering standards, parking, fee in lieu for parking, and then an annexation policy. And then it sort of tells you where it's at in the status. And then if you go into those, again, fair warning, it's beta. It shows you sort of notes on where it's at. And then one thing that they may be working on too is, so you have tasks here. And so we can then check these off to see where we're at. And then it, you know, hopefully will then fill into the overview and the percentage complete and Gantt charts and all the fun stuff. So
How time consuming is it? And are
not
you
at
able
all
to
compared to the other one.
Copy and paste.
Yeah, this is a lot easier than the other one. It would also email you and send you notifications on when status updates are due. So if we wanted them to be due like a week before council meeting, so that council can be updated on what's going on.
It's exciting for you.
Oh my gosh. So it's still in beta. I signed a contract, but it said that only if council approves it, and I'll bring it to council. They're trying to go live in the like final version, I think next month. And so I'm still trying to test drive it for another month and a half to see,
Cool.
to see if I really like it.
Tires.
And to see if it really does. And they're also working on having it be connected to other collaborators and
Well, that's nice.
so you have contributors, so I could, you know, Ben, Carolyn, Liana, whoever else, as well as tying it into your budget. So that would be the really cool thing. And then the other thing that I'm working on is the transparency portion. And let's see. Wrong computer. Sorry. What's going on? And so this is, I'm working on just validating this data so that, because I haven't updated it for 2022 year end, nor for the final budget, but this is sort of the transparency portion. You know, it shows the financial overview at a high level. So our revenues and our expenses, and then it goes, you know, year over year, what it's been. Again, 2022 hasn't been updated. They're in the middle of doing that. People can comment on it if you want.
So it's gonna be public facing.
This is, yeah, this
That's
actually is public facing right now. With the caveat that is really not 100% accurate. But it, like I said, for 2022. But you know, here's your pie chart for the prior years as well. And so you can kind of see how things are trending and where things are going. So
That's cool.
Nice.
revenue, same for expenditures. And you can, you know, enter and give me a home value.
450.
And so then I want to show my contributions to each of these departments. So so if your home is $450,000, your contribution to the planning and community development budget is $150 a year.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So and then you can view the breakdown.
That's good to know. I'm gonna be giving that to some people.
Yeah. So future planning, economic development, building and current planning. So it can break it out even further. So it's kind of fun. And then there's again, additional demographics. And then I don't know where this is at. I'll do it in the next question, but the debt is coming soon. So there you go.
Coming to your mailbox soon.
Right. Well, you'll see the cliff or the
Right, you'll see
like the
spike.
Alps, Mount Everest
Mhm.
for our debt when we
Mhm.
take on the wastewater treatment. So anyway,
That'll be fun.
this is something that, you know, we started last year with the budget project process in August. And so just kind of trying to get back to it as things sort of, as time allots. But super excited and fun.
That is cool.
Robert, you got anything?
He's not on here.
I know, but I'm asking him.
No, I don't, I
I'm
didn't.
leaving this show today,
Yeah.
okay? Leave me alone.
We had the chamber meeting today, we had a full board meeting. Sheriff Shire came, gave her update, obviously the two deputies. Big concern because obviously the large concern is the speeding issue is brought up by 3 or 4 business owners. You still got the feeders on each side of town, everybody's plowing through too fast. They talked about taking the old Crown Vic that has been in surplus and they're gonna park it down there.
It was there
right
today
down
when I
in
came
front
in.
of Java.
They've already moved it down, okay, because they. as soon as-
It was there when I came home from work.
Me in there.
And Benjamin would do
Yes.
that.
And it slowed them down too. It was
I like
okay.
it.
So, I mean, literally, Sheriff left the meeting at 12:30 and must have moved the car over there right then.
Yeah.
That
By
was-
4 o'clock, it was there.
There you go.
4:30 when I
Is
drove
it a
by.
Sasquatch or is it like a dump?
That was the other thing was they wanted to put up next to the reader board that, you know, enjoy Stevenson, Sasquatch is watching.
Yeah.
So we're looking, they've actually asked if the city has any interest in what data you're collecting on the reader boards, whether or not you can collect any speeding data.
Oh,
I'm-
maybe we can.
No, we can.
I thought
There's a computer that has short on it. It's
I feel
just
like
really
that would be
old.
really
it was
bad.
really, it was when we first put it in, as I recall.
Oh, it was old 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So
So those were questions that were
We
brought
may
up
be
by
able to
business
still.
owners.
Okay, thank you.
I forgot to mention, we got the Transportation Alternatives Grant for First Street. It was in the newspaper.
Nice.
And so we're working on application to get match funding for that, to top off that project and
Awesome.
construct it next year to hopefully help with some of the speeding on First Street. That traffic calming. And then the projects for both of the roundabouts and everything was submitted to the Regional Transportation Council to be included or for evaluation to see whether or not it will be included in the regional transportation, what's the term, like projects of regional significance, and to their like 20 to 40-year plan. So.
Okay.
Further study.
Any of the council members have anything to report on?
Can't think of anything.
I attended the fire strategic plan meeting last night, went really, really well, I thought. They did a really good job. We held it to 2 hours and I think we're gonna see some real significant stuff come out of that meeting, so.
Good.
Looking forward to seeing that,
And that's what the report out will be on the 22nd.
yes.
So, and oh, by the way, yeah, no special meeting is needed for the other meeting, so.
So it won't be on my calendar.
So it won't be, June 22nd
Mhm.
should be on your calendar because that was our regular workshop.
Okay.
And that's
And
at 6
then-
o'clock?
And that's at 6
5:30?
o'clock,
I've got
6
that.
o'clock here. Yes, yes.
No 5:30?
No,
meeting?
5:30 meeting. No, no, no. I didn't know if we would need to approve the shoreline plan before June 30th. So I was trying
We're
to,
ready.
I was ready,
Right.
Okay,
but no, we don't.
all right, voucher approval?
I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers as presented.
Second. Move in second. Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carried. Anything to bring up for meeting? Next one. No? No. Okay. I will adjourn the meeting at 7:51.
Offices will be closed on Monday in celebration of Juneteenth.
Jeez.